Going live. Going live.
All right.
Wait, okay, are we actually live yet?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, hello, Internet.
Oh, we got first Fernando
Yay.
on YouTube. Hello, Fernando.
I didn't think anyone actually would tune in for this one.
We have at least one person.
Our only friend.
Don't worry, Gordon's here.
You guys are highs.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, welcome. Yeah. As people come in, why don't you address the audience? We got Charles here.
Hello.
We got Cher.
So
from
this
Algeria.
This is a
Nice.
spontaneous. Hey, both Brad and Gordon are away.
Oh, this wasn't spontaneous. We've been talking about this for a bit.
I mean, it was spontaneous enough when we came up with the idea.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a couple of days ago.
We got Prozone Layer over on Twitch. We got
Cool.
Yeah, we actually have some
Hey,
people.
if you're on Twitch, I hope you're taking advantage of Amazon Prime Day deals. So Twitch is giving away one free game every day until the 18th.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you mean on Twitch Prime? Like
Yeah,
on
Twitch
that?
Prime.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Wow,
So if you're a
that's
Twitch
awesome.
Prime member, you can take advantage of that. I think today's game is Pillars of Eternity.
Nice.
Yeah. Good stuff. There'll be a post going up on PC World that outlines all the games you can get, so you can keep track of it that way. But just to reiterate, you do have to be a Twitch Prime member to get the free games.
who isn't though? You know.
Well, it was really surprising. I
What?
was talking with our deals writers today, and I guess they both don't have Amazon Prime.
What?
I know.
Oh, all right. Weird. I just thought everyone did.
I know. I've spent so much money. Yeah.
Rurutu's here, and he says Gordon has been replaced by a canteen, but what you don't understand is that Gordon is the canteen.
Yeah, that's actually his signature water bottle.
Yeah, and if
He
you
left
listen,
it at the office, so I just put it there to stand in for him.
if you listen real close, you can hear him talk like this.
Blah, 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 blah.
Or how about this one?
I am not giving another goddamn dollar to Ridley Scott for his Blade Runner industrial complex.
Yep, yeah, that's pretty much
think-
Gordon in a nutshell.
I think he proved himself wrong, though, because didn't he see the latest Blade Runner movie?
I don't think he did.
Oh,
I don't
maybe
think he
held.
did.
Maybe he held fast.
Yeah, no. Well, Brad's a huge Blade Runner fan, but I know he saw it, but I don't think.
Speaking of Brad, we have an image of New England here, just to
somewhere.
see
Yeah.
somewhere in there. We don't know where,
Yeah,
but he's there.
we're gonna try to pinpoint his exact location during this show. So yeah, why don't we kick it off? We have some fun topics, and I was thinking, why don't we each take turns giving our best Gordon intro impression?
Okay, you first or me first?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Why don't you go first?
Okay.
Do it.
Excuse me. In this episode of the Half
camera.
Nerd, what?
This
Oh,
one.
that camera?
Yeah.
I don't know what camera we're looking at. 'cause
There we go.
there's just
That's
me.
classic Gordon.
There's me. Oh yeah, I had to restart it.
Yeah.
I am doing this true
Perfect.
to life.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
So far, so good.
In this episode of the Half Nerd, we talk about how Gordon is wrong, ultimate battle stations, and how we do stuff behind the scenes.
Nice. I liked it. All right, here we go. My turn. See, I think the key to Gordon is his hands. You know.
I use my hands.
Yeah. So, in this episode of the Half Nerd, wait, what are we
Oh,
talking
that
about?
is pretty good. Damn it.
Damn it. Well, you know.
Gordon is wrong.
Yeah.
That's all you have to remember.
Gordon is wrong. Battle stations, and what was the third one?
How did you step
yeah.
behind the scenes?
Yeah. Okay.
You
Jeez.
came up with it yesterday. Yeah, this is what it's like without Gordon and Brad to keep us on track, y'all.
Here we go. In this episode of the Half Nerd, we talk about how I'm wrong, ultimate battle stations, and how it's like to make the full nerd. That wasn't too bad, right?
No, I think you win that one.
So we got their names crossed out. All right, so you bring us back in.
Oh, I'm bringing us back did.
Yes,
I
yeah.
thought we agreed
Do
you
it.
were doing it.
Oh, sorry.
This happens with a live show, everybody. Welcome to episode 57.5.
Yes. Love it.
I am your stand-in for your actual host, Elena Yee, and here with me today, controlling the horizontal and the vertical, is Adam Patrick Murray.
Hey, Elena, are you excited for summertime? Because it's here and it's in full effect.
Yeah, you know what the amazing thing is? In the Bay Area right now, it is only 62 degrees.
Something like that.
All of my friends on the East Coast are dying right now. The UK too. Apparently, it's something like 90 degrees Fahrenheit on the East Coast, and something like, I guess, 30 degrees Celsius in the UK right now.
Yeah, it's been nice and warm and cold and warm and cold, but that's a Bay
But
Area. That's how it
mildly
goes.
cold, mildly warm. It's like 70 degrees maybe.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, we're here, and then we also have the ghost of Gordon
Not
here
ghost,
in his
spirit.
of Gordon.
He's not dead.
In his canteen. He's gonna chime in every once in a while, like this.
And the embarrassing thing is the Apple commercial for once in my life is actually correct. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, we have the Gordon Maung soundboard. You can go to lee-.com/rant soundboard. It's a fun one. You can play all your favorite Gordon clips from back in the old days of the Max PC No BS podcast, where I first learned about Gordon Maung. Anyway, so yeah, let me bring up the graphic.
topics for today.
We have a fun list of topics that we're going to cover, and there they are. The first one and most important one is Gordon is wrong, right, Elena?
Yes. Absolutely.
And we have
You may have an inkling what we're going to talk about from this topic already.
we have a list of things that Gordon is wrong about, and because he's not here to defend himself, we're gonna talk about it ourselves. Yep, that's it. So, what should we talk about first about how wrong Gordon is?
Let's see what I got here. I got show and tell. I was saying before the show that this is just like a recreation of my childhood. These are all my friends hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Like that guy. Oh, is that a controller?
That's right. It's a controller, and I will play with this until the end of time.
Yeah, but see,
Except maybe for strategy games.
the thing is, only controllers just don't allow people to be fast enough. Mouse and keyboard is where it's at. So obviously, mouse and keyboard is better than controller, right, Elena?
All I'm going to say is if I have a choice between failing horribly on my mouse and keyboard, as in I'm running up against the wall and I can't seem to turn around, versus playing slowly on a controller, but I can actually shoot people in the head during a multiplayer match, I'm going to choose a controller every time. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to agree with you that Gordon is wrong about controllers. We all use controllers for, various things. Some of us like to admit it, some of us don't. But for me, I've been using a controller all my life. I'm actually not that good at mouse and keyboard, so I would much rather because I'm so comfortable with a controller, I'm better with a controller than I am on mouse and keyboard. And sure, maybe I can take the years of my life to get even better that way, but I'd rather play the way that I'm better at and have fun with it rather than have to relearn a new system and kind of get better at that. Sure, the ceiling is probably higher on mouse and keyboard. I can agree with that, all things equal, but all things aren't equal. I've been playing on controllers all my life, so I'm just comfortable with that.
You know what he's going to say to us when he gets back.
What is he going to say? Is he going to say something like this?
Jesus Christ.
That'll be the opener.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically, if you've been watching the show for a while, you'll know the answer to all of these. So maybe we should just go through the list and just say Gordon is wrong, period.
Well, I want to hear what everyone else thinks in the chat.
That is true.
Mouse and keyboard versus controller, chime in.
Seriously, how many people actually split between the two versus only do mouse and keyboard? I can't imagine there are many PC gamers that only do controller. I'm sure that if you play things like strategy games and the like, you are using mouse and keyboard for that, because I fully admit that using a controller for that would be really painful. Unpleasant.
Well, and that's one of the greatest things about the PC is that you can put a controller on it. You can put a mouse and keyboard on it. You can put a HOTAS system. You can put, foot pedals. You can put whatever you want, even that new Xbox, what was it? Adaptive assistive?
The accessibility based controller. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just, you have all those options, which, I think Gordon would rather be in our camp and say, well, on the console, you only limited to one option.
No, that's true. Seriously. I have a PlayStation 4, but I never play it because I hate the layout for the DualShock controller. I bought one of those third-party ones that imitates the Xbox controller layout, but it doesn't feel right. It's way too chunky in the back, and so for my smaller hands, I can't play it for long stretches, so at most I'll get like maybe 2 hours gameplay at a time. Sucks.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I use a trackball for my actual work. So at home, I actually have a trackball and a mouse set up, and then also just use a controller. But yeah, I mean, most of the chat is being quite, agreeable with us. I'm appreciating the level of discourse in here. People are like, oh yeah, just depends on the game, and if you want to use a stick or not.
Take that.
Yeah, but we do have a nice comment from Rusty Shackelford, friend of the show, Rusty. He says, so will Gordon be here next week by himself to roast us? I think that would be pretty fun, actually.
That would be actually really great. So he's not just on the soundboard, just doing Adam's job, and you just see that one person view the whole time of him saying, this is how they're wrong about everything in life. Done.
That would actually be pretty fun.
That would be great.
So what else is Gordon wrong about? Now that we got that out of the way.
This. I mean, come on, people.
Power supplies.
So I build a lot of small form factor PCs. So this does heavily influence my opinion on this. Who wants this Medusa's nest of cables crammed into a mini ITX build? Gordon does. That's who.
But Elena, what do you do with all those extra cables that you don't have sitting around?
Like a normal person, I label them and I put them in the bag and I put them in a place that I'll remember later on.
Actually, you know what? To his credit, though, I did almost accidentally swap a different cable for a different power supply.
You can't prove him right, Adam.
I know. I'm just saying, like in that situation, like if you're worried about that, but I mean, like, listen, at home, I mean, I've used the same power supply in 2 different builds now. You know what I mean? So I haven't had to upgrade my build, but at the same time, like I can just take that power supply, when I'm done with it, and get rid of that and all the cables, and then once I get a new one, I've got a whole fresh new set of cables, so I'm not mixing them up. Gordon's different because I think he has like 12 different PCs at home, but for me, it's completely fine. Like modular power supply, I would much rather go that way. I want to hear what you guys say in the chat. So
yeah, if you are a regular system builder, do you have trouble keeping them apart? I can't imagine that it would be difficult with a little bit of forward thinking and organization. But maybe I'm just not lead enough at home with my building.
Well, forward thinking and organization is maybe not Gordon's strong suit. Oh, burn. I'm just kidding. Has anybody seen his desk?
Has anyone seen our lab? If you watched the intro video for the vlog that I'm doing, which, by the way, I know the second installment people have been waiting on. I'm waiting to see if I can get one more set of parts, like I said last week. We'll see. I might have to swap in something else instead for the RAM. But that shot of our lab was not created. That was a true to life look at our lab.
And that was after a little bit of a cleanup, actually. It's because we're doing a little bit of rearranging. So yeah.
So, but I'm sure Gordon would have some kind of response on that. We'll have to see what the soundboard turns up at some point.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Can we do random sort on that?
Well, the problem is that a lot of the soundboard features a lot of bad words.
Oh, right.
Naughty Gordon. So I'm really
Disney
trying to,
approval on those.
Maybe, how about this one?
Does the green light mean walk into the middle of the fucking street?
Oh no!
Well, see, I didn't know. It just said the button just said green light. So
let's just pretend we didn't hear that.
Yeah, we can blame it on Gordon for not being here.
Admittedly, I did in the vlog. I swore. So you had to bleep that out for me.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It was funny.
All right.
So
final round.
Well, real quick from the audience. Katie B Cat Hey, we both love cats. We're
Meow.
big cat persons, so good job, Katie. She says, I like semi-modular. It has all the essentials, but then you can connect the cables for the extras if you need them.
That's a nice middle ground. Yeah, I mean, semi-modular also tends to be cheaper than full modular, so works out well if you're doing more of a budget build both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, but also on, I'm sorry, Katie is one of our Twitch subscribers.
Cool. Thanks for supporting.
And then Noisy Kid as well says that they go with modular every time. They don't mind semi-modular, but he didn't say why necessarily. So
cool.
Yeah, and then
I have support.
Yeah.
We're Legion, Gordon.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I may be exaggerating.
So once again, Gordon's wrong. And what else is Gordon wrong about?
So final round. You'll have to refresh my memory on this suddenly. I just blanked.
Oh crap.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This is what happens when you have a half nerd. Half of us. This is not the good half. This is not the
It was
half.
mouse and keyboard. It was modular power supplies. What else does he always rant about? Oh, console versus PC. That's what it is.
Were we really going to go there?
We were really going to go there.
I didn't think we were actually going to touch that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Gordon is wrong about consoles. They're just PCs and they just play video games. So it's okay that they're not maybe the most powerful thing.
I don't know.
World, right?
I feel like this is opening Pandora's box. I'm scared.
Do it. Weigh in on the subject. Gordon's not here to yell at us, except for he is right here. He says,
I mean, it's all a scam anyway.
Yeah, that's what he says. Consoles are all a scam anyway.
I mean, actually, there's a little truth to that one where they're saying to you, it's the most powerful machine ever, but it has Jaguar cores.
Well, Enigmatastic. Yes, I got it right. On Twitch is saying, does the Nook count as a console?
It doesn't have.
I mean, kind of, right?
I mean, it's console sized, but I think for a definition of this, we're basically going with a locked down operating system that you can't install yourself, right? It's provided by the manufacturer.
But the Xbox run Windows 10. It just runs Windows 10.
It's a fork of Windows 10. You can't. Now, if you could download it and install it on a Nook, that would be awesome, but you can't.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome. Also, we're having a little bit of trouble on the YouTube chat. Something's going on, so messages are coming in late. So they're just chiming in with the cable stuff, but people are agreeing with us about the
yes, Gordon is wrong.
So, yeah, Gordon's wrong. But about consoles, I mean, hey, I actually think the perfect pairing is a high-powered PC and a Nintendo Switch. Then you can game on the go, you can game at home, you can game on your TV, you can game on your monitor.
As long as you don't care about any very specific console exclusives, then yeah.
I mean, but at this point, Microsoft has pretty much rolled them out. So an Xbox One,
PlayStation, though.
Yeah, but PlayStation, exclusives that I can think of over there, I mean, it's like a handful of them a year.
Are they still doing that BS like account locking thing that I was reading about? Because that is crap.
Yes. Oh, you mean the cross-platform stuff, like
that
Fortnite?
Was crap.
No, I actually ran into it. Yeah, I went to go log in to Fortnite at E3 on my Switch, and it was like, you can't log into Fortnite because you have associated this account with the PlayStation account. And I'm like, I can't even log in. I can't even. Not that I put money into it, but it was
Ew.
This whole Sony thing is going to hopefully blow back in their face.
I really hope so. Also, I never thought I'd see the day where the Microsoft and Nintendo Twitter accounts were talking to each other positively.
That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty interesting.
Also, Dragon Kurt on Twitch says there's free sync on Xbox One, so I mean it's even closer to a PC, right?
Okay, so I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. I don't think it's in the frame.
No,
so it's just to the right of the RGB build. There he is. That is my new 4K FreeSync monitor.
Pretty.
It's really pretty. The stand on it is great. I was trying it out with the Xbox One X in the office, and I think we're going to try to do a video on it just for fun. But it's really smooth. Like if you pair that with Xbox One X, it's super smooth.
Yeah, no, I watched a little bit over your shoulder. That was pretty cool. I want to try more of that. But yeah, I mean, to that, it's like, so what is left that doesn't make it a PC? Really, just the lockdown.
Yeah, it's not
software?
open. It's not open. You can't really upgrade the components.
The hard drive.
Okay, sorry. You can't really upgrade the components without voiding the warranty.
Yeah. I mean, but that's pretty much laptops too. Laptops or PCs.
Have you ever opened up an Xbox One? I have.
No.
I haven't done it on the S or the X, but I did on the original, and the thing is not really designed to be opened.
Uh-huh.
I mean, admittedly, there are some laptops that are like that too, but not to that extreme.
Yeah, I did. It's funny because Gordon, I think Gordon, of course, loves to make fun of consoles, but at the same time, he definitely has said, like, hey, you know what? These consoles are pretty much PCs. I mean, the Switch is literally running an NVIDIA Tegra chip. The Xbox One is pretty much a
I mean, once you
PC.
get the case off, it's not hard to like mess with the components in Xbox One, but the shell itself is. Well, I also have kind of a heavy-handed touch, unfortunately, when it comes to plastic and clips. So when I'm in there trying to like jimmy it open gently, I always hear like a crack. I'm like, every time.
Never feels good. Never feels good.
I'm so bad at it. I feel like I just need to get a bunch of dead Xbox Ones or something. Just practice this like plastic opening thing,
That's
so
a good
I
idea,
stop cracking it on the good ones. It's terrible.
But come on.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. But over on Facebook, Tony is saying that he'll take both consoles and PCs. They each have their own advantages and disadvantages.
I agree.
See, Gordon, people
just want to
like
coexist
both.
peacefully.
Yeah, right.
We just want a game.
Also, we have a native Titanium. This is our first time watching the show live.
Cool.
He said they said much appreciated that you guys always remember the audio listeners, and hey, that is a very important piece of it. I'm glad you tuned in live. I'm sorry it's just a half episode, so
the half crew.
But we're having fun. So yeah, it looks like everyone's being very sensible. Except for Vignesh over on YouTube saying that on consoles the games are more expensive, right? So that's a downside.
They can be. Yeah. I've always actually wanted to go through and see how pricing really affects how much it costs to game on PC versus console these days, because in the old days when Steam sales were that kind of who knows what's going to come up next, so you're like constantly watching to see what they're going to put on sale. You could get some crazy good deals on AAA titles, but nowadays I feel like on PC AAA titles follow a very similar pricing scheme, at least initially, as they do on console.
Yeah.
And so even then, like, they're kind of close to each other, so it'll drop to make, say, half off, and console will be like $35 instead of $60. It's not like that crazy thing where it's like, hey, this game that's relatively new just dropped to $15.
Yeah. Well, and if you have a Twitch, or not Twitch, a Amazon Prime account, you can usually get a pretty heavy discount on pre-ordering console games. Yeah, I can't remember how. I think it's like $15 off or something.
That's not bad.
Anyway, to wrap up this Gordon is wrong segment, we have a friend of the show, Kyle from Hardy OCP. He says Gordon is God, and he's disappointed in both of us for speaking his name in vain.
I mean, sometimes you have to be a little blasphemous about the things you love. Gordon is not wrong about the real stuff. He's never wrong with the real stuff. It's only about these other things that we, plebs can chime in on.
And don't worry, there are plenty of things. We were like, okay, what are all the things that Gordon rallies against? Here just sitting in the office, and we could go on forever. And there's plenty of them. But yeah, we just wanted to touch on it just a little bit, just have a little bit of fun. But do you want to move on to another topic that's actually a little more serious?
Yeah. All right. So. This came up for me because I bought that new 4K monitor, and I realized I don't really have
there we go.
I don't really have a
Barely
battle station. I'll have that. And then I'll have, okay, so don't judge me. I know Gordon would be judging me, which is why I'm bringing this up now. But at home right now, I have just like a 21.
I mean, it's all a scam anyway.
That's a good one.
A 21 or 22 inch 1080p monitor. I don't think even it's IPS. I think it's just like a TN panel. It's like pretty old.
Okay.
And then this is the part where people are going to judge me. I have a 15 inch CRT, like leftover, like a Dell, like
Whoa.
leftover from like an office giveaway from about
Wow.
13 years ago. And I did that because I felt like the black levels on the first batches of flat panel monitors weren't great. And I like to buy things. I like to buy clothing, especially sometimes. And it's really hard to tell what color things are sometimes if your black levels are off.
No.
I didn't have the courage to give up on old tech. Is that what you're saying to me? I should give up a headset jack too?
I guess. Also, the chat is laughing out loud right now about your CRT.
Look, so I had it for a very specific reason for a very long time, but technology has gotten to a point where I don't really need the CRT anymore. And I got the 4K monitor, and now I realize I could actually set up my own battle station. Like, I wouldn't be ashamed to show it off anymore.
Well, but before we get into what the rest of that battle station would look like, we got a question from Dragon Kurt on Twitch. He's asking, will you review that FreeSync monitor?
Oh, I don't know if I'm really qualified to review monitors. I mean, I'm definitely happy if people are interested to know my experience with it, to share that at some point once I've had, good stretch with it. But I don't have any of the calibration tools, so I don't have like color calibration or anything like that. I haven't done any monitor reviews yet, so I wouldn't have an eye for, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So informally, if you want to know my opinion, I'm totally happy to share.
Sweet. Yeah, maybe you can update us on that. So yeah, if you were to make an ultimate battle station at home, and I don't know what your house looks like, but like what would the setup look like?
That's the thing I'm having trouble with. So right now I live in very, very tight quarters. So I really have just
Bay Area.
I know. It's like, sometimes it's like, what's worse? I suppose Tokyo. Living in Japan.
Yeah, probably. I'd still do it.
But San Francisco is rapidly moving that direction.
Okay, you want to know what else really pisses me off about this damn company?
I don't. Random.
I just have a desk. Like, it's not even this long. So I would say like maybe like that much space. And then I have a hutch on it, which interferes with how much height I have for a monitor.
Interesting.
So it's going to be interesting. I think that one clears height-wise. But I was thinking of taking the hutch off finally. And I don't know, putting maybe shelves up behind it, doing some lighting. And I was kind of curious what other people's idea of an ultimate battle station is. I mean, of course, I've gone on Reddit and I've looked and I've oohed and I've awed. And
there's some people on Instagram who take some really nice photos of battle stations.
So good. But I'm just trying to decide, like, do I want lights? Do I want to upgrade my mouse and keyboard? But see, I don't actually really use the mouse and keyboard for anything other than, work and typing.
Well, speaking of lights, I did reach out to Nanoleaf. I think that's what it is. They're these.
Right, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, and hopefully going to get a kid in to check out these little modular triangles that you kind of create your own pattern with them. It syncs up with music, so you can use them as almost like audio meters. It has like Philips Hue integration. Like it's pretty cool. Or you can leave it static. I've seen a lot of people.
So if it has Philips Hue integration, that means that it's smart home compatible.
Yes.
Right. You can control it. You can have like triggers for.
Yeah,
maybe I can really have the pizza delivery trigger that I've always wanted. Everybody.
Yeah, I feel like I did I'd have to bring it up again, but I feel like it did have like all the major like integrations, like Alexa and all that stuff. So I'm excited. I haven't gotten them in, but I originally got them in because I was like, man, how could we upgrade your RGB build to something even crazier? You attach these panels to it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense for this conversation as well. But also another big thing, which games reporter Hayden Dingman, who he's been on the show before, he upgraded, I don't know, maybe like half a year, maybe a year ago to an actual gaming chair, and I've never had a gaming chair. Have you?
Well, I haven't because I guess fortunately for me, I don't really get that sweaty. So I don't really need the
I don't
extra.
think it's just about sweat. I mean,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
isn't that the
I
point?
get
Isn't that the
sweaty
point
about
of
that.
a gaming chair where you have like the fans blowing on you, so you don't get swampy
Well, I don't
areas?
I don't think they all have fans.
Well, I thought the more expensive ones do.
Oh, I don't know. For me, I think it's more like just stability and comfort. Like, especially Hayden said, like being able to kind of rest your head back and have like a nice, upright position.
I've never liked low riding while gaming. I know some people
okay.
will do like the couch thing where they're just like,
Yeah, pretty much.
but I don't know. Like for me, that doesn't.
Are you a lean forward? Or
I'm more of like a just casual sit in my chair if I'm in a chill moment, and then when I'm really trying to concentrate, I'll do like the lean forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You
there
know?
you go.
And they have this fucking 12-year-old driving the bus.
Yeah. So let me look over here.
I'd be really curious to see what other people have done. If anyone wants to tweet at us with photos of their battle stations, that'd be super cool.
You should
give
totally
me some ideas.
You should totally tweet at us.
I think the whole point though of this segment is ultimate battle station, and so my realistic battle station is going to be kind of a sad thing. I may not give up that CRT monitor. We'll find out. Anyway,
it's also good for retro games. You
it is. Also, it keeps things warm in the winter. I have used it before to heat my hands when they get cold while typing in the winter. It's very handy.
We actually have a good question from I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry.
It's cool.
Roel R-O umlaut L Gomez says, should we start promoting non-RGB products at this point, or do you guys think RGB is temporary? Yeah. What do you think about this whole RGB craze?
So I feel like it's one of those things where the people who hate it are probably more vocal than the people who love it, just because of how much is creeping into the market. I just feel like it's growing, and I don't think the manufacturers would be doing that if there wasn't somebody buying it.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think the trend's over, but I do think that as a reaction to it, we'll see some more innovative non-RGB, decorations, mods. I was on Reddit the other day and I saw someone had used, it was pretty clever, someone had used wood-style contact paper to cover a case, which I don't know. It looked okay in the pictures. I would have to see it in person to see if I would want to do it myself. But it looked pretty slick. They had kind of that vintage wood grain look on their case.
Nice. That's actually kind of fun. I would be interested in seeing it.
And it did a good job with the X-Acto blade, cutting it all out to match perfectly to line up.
Also, back to the chair thing. Prozone Layer on Twitch says the chair is the best thing. He just got one in his new office. He loves it. Secret Labs is what he got. And then Native Titanium also on Twitch says DX Racer. He's had one for 3 years, and it's the best quality gaming chair. The back and the headrest for posture, and not having to replace the chair every 6 months. I think there are plenty of people out there who use gaming chairs. I want to get into it. For me, it's more the aesthetic. I live in a loft space, with brick and it's trendy looking, and my wife is very good at keeping things pretty. We got lots of plants and stuff like that, and I think if I were to roll in a gaming chair, she'd just be like, it wouldn't match the aesthetic.
Well, aren't there some that aren't just the crazy stereotypical black and red? I think there are some that are more discreet, that are just pure black, that look like they could be maybe office style chairs. I mean,
that's the thing. Even the office style chairs, doesn't really match our aesthetic too much. And even my desk. I got the desk I have at home is an old professor's desk from Berkeley, the university. So it's really deep, which I like a good deep desk. So it's nice, kind of an antique wood kind of thing. So
what would you pair with a desk like that? Would you?
I mean, that's the problem I've been having.
I mean, it would be something like this kind of chair where it's like white and lower backed.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, right now I just have an IKEA chair that's a little bit desky
What about the open mesh ones? Then it wouldn't be such a solid color.
I mean, here at work I do use a Herman Miller chair, which
fancy.
I like. Yeah,
Those are fancy.
But yeah, I mean that's
I do miss those chairs.
That's work for you.
Yeah.
And then we got a lot of people on here who aren't huge RGB fans, but CyberClue on YouTube says that we should talk about putting together the Bayonetta Ultimate Battle Station.
Okay,
what
so
that would look like.
I think, all right, so if I was going to build my Ultimate Battle Station, there was something I saw again on Reddit maybe a few weeks ago where they had gotten a custom desk that basically the entire monitor, tower, everything, battle station. No, I think the tower's underneath, but the monitors and everything were on this platform that actually could lower down, and then you would have just a flat desk to surface to work on if you weren't using the computer. And then it's all like gas powered hydraulic kind of stuff, I think. And so then you press a button, not gas powered, but the gas joints, and then you could just raise it back up. Just like with the press button, kind of like a sit stand desk sort of thing.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be my baseline, right? And I'd probably get one of those 34-inch ultra wides. Just the ones and this is one of the rare times that I actually really like curved displays. I don't like curved TVs. I think they're a gimmick. I don't think it works for how people actually lounge in a living room. Mm-mm. But in terms of monitors, that thing's great because it just wraps around and it's more comfortable for your peripheral vision. I have an ultra wide at my desk at work here that I use, but it's actually flat and it's really weird to look at the outer edges. I don't know. It doesn't work with peripheral vision for me. So I'd have one of those. I would tuck that underneath. I would raise it up, and then if we're gonna go with Bayonetta themed, excuse me, what are her colors? It's like electric blue and black, right?
Yeah, kind of.
So probably I would do an RGB build with black and electric blue.
Nice.
So probably black case, electric blue lights. They're like monitor lighting strips now too. Probably add some of those to get the blue hue, and maybe, well, I mean, this is a dream station, right? So I probably get whoever's building that desk for me to do an etching in the wood of her.
Oh,
maybe like that cool signature pose of hers.
There you go.
Like with I can't do it. I don't think a regular human woman could do this, but like with
her
the hip,
proportions are obviously
with the hip sticking out. It's just
and
no.
the guns and
I think I put my spine out.
Also, CyberClue thought that it was funny that you corrected yourself that it's the Bayonetta.
I know what our group talks about.
Also, Vignesh shared an imager gallery of his battle station.
Cool.
And it's actually really I can't.
Can we toss that up on the screen?
Not for you, no.
No.
Sorry.
Can we replace Brad?
It's no, because I'd have to. But it's actually very subtle, and he's got a really nice open air case. It's like black with a lot of white fans. But yeah, I think mine would actually be pretty subtle. I know I'm getting those nano leafs in or whatever, but I don't think I'd go too heavy on the RGB. But I do want something. The case I have right now at home is a what is it, Define R4, like one of those silent cases, because it was nice and quiet. But the problem is that my big professor desk doesn't have room underneath, so I keep it on the top of my desk. But there's no windows, you can't see in it, so it just is a big black box.
You could just put plants on top of it.
I mean, I do, but yeah. So my next case, I think I'll definitely have at least some windows or something fancier. But back to the gaming chair thing. Hard OCP Kyle says the best gaming chair that he's used in the past year is Noble Chairs Icon. No bolsters, same company, has a gaming chair too. Nitro Concepts 300. Excellent build quality. So that's his recommendation.
I have to look into that. I don't really know much about gaming chairs at all. I just always thought they were chairs designed to make gaming more comfortable because it had things like fans and strategic placement for ventilation of where the padding goes, things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's when it's a home build and it has to be like an actual you got to fit it within your space, and you got to worry about things like sound and temperature. It's a little different, so it makes sense. Side note, Dragon Kurt is wondering what GPU and CPUs we use on our personal PCs.
Oh gosh. More time for more embarrassment.
Uh-oh. You got a bulldozer?
No. Excuse you. I'm still rocking old school. I think it's 40. Oh God, my brain's blinking out. It's Haswell part. Why can't I think of the numbers right now, everybody?
I mean,
I didn't have
probably because
breakfast.
there's so many. Jeez, I can't keep the numbers straight. I don't know how Gordon does it.
Why can't my brain? Is it 4970K? I don't remember anymore.
Well, this 4970K is Devil's Canyon.
Yeah, it's
right?
Devil's Canyon. I
That's
have a
funny.
Devil's Canyon chip.
Oh, then
Do you have
we
one
must
too?
have the exact same one.
Twinsies!
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really old now though. It's like 4 years old.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Yeah, so I have that and the 290X. I don't, because I game mostly on console, and then mostly when I'm at home, I don't do any rendering. I don't really do any rendering aside of like taking tiny clips from my dance videos and just share with my coaches. That's it for me. I would like to upgrade at some point, maybe to a Ryzen processor, a Ryzen based build, but I mean, I just laid out for that
gaming,
thing.
Why don't you to go Intel?
Because I'm doing all my gaming on console, Gordon.
And I also use a 4790K and then a 1080. I've got some older parts. I do want to upgrade the CPU and motherboard, but I mean, I do have an M.2 drive at least, a couple SSDs, So I'm for the most part I do okay. But yeah, it's mostly for work that I need to upgrade the CPU. Yeah. So, all right. Do you want to hit the very last topic we have here today?
I feel like this is all you. It's your time to shine, right? Because so we thought it'd be fun in case if you all had any questions about how we run things behind the scenes here at the Full Nerd, that we would talk about it. Adam in particular has mentioned that he's gotten a lot of questions about the video production end side of things, so we could open with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two pieces of it. There's, how do we come up with the topics? How do we all work together to, make the show fun and interesting on on that end? But then also, the actual production stuff. I mean, if anybody has questions, I know people, typically ask about the, what cameras we're using or how we have the studio set up. If you watch a lot of our videos, you've probably seen, some, especially the build ones. I feel like you start to see more of the seams when we're building stuff out.
Those are the fun ones, though.
Yeah, they are. I definitely recommend you tune in, especially that Xbox One X one. We still get a lot of traffic off of that one. But yeah, so for an episode, I mean, we try to do it. We switched to a weekly format, I don't know, a couple months ago, and we try to find topics that are super relevant, but then also some that can garner a nice little bit of debate, and also go into the strengths. I mean, Gordon obviously knows a lot about CPUs, and Brad is obviously knows a lot about GPUs. I am the noob of the bunch, considering I haven't been building PCs for that long, so I just pretty much live vicariously through you guys, and chime in for your stuff. So I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as those guys. But on the back end, I think right now this streaming box that I'm streaming from, that we custom built, it's got a 1070 and a i7 5960X, because at the time we needed 8 cores, and that was the best option. And oh boy, I wish we could do that again. So yeah, we've got a lot of power here. I've got 2 4K monitors set up here. We also actually have, funny enough, two Mac Pros, the old 2011 Mac Pros, sitting off to the side. One of them is just running Skype, or Brad's Skype on the
Brad.
TV there, and then the other one is streaming out to Facebook.
Oh, that one's actually on.
Yeah,
I thought they were just part of the decoration of the set.
No, those are both on. They're both running. And that's pretty much all that a Mac is good for, is just running. It is kind of funny to think that, I mean, these were $5,000 machines in the day or whatever, and they're just being either dedicated to game capture or Skype. That's kind of the fun thing. And then I run a live streaming software called Livestream Studio that takes in all the camera inputs, and I switch in real time, and we got the graphics and all that fun stuff. And then we Ruru too. Yes, I usually have my fidget spinners on hand too. That I can't make a show. Eyes. Do you hear this one?
Yes, I can hear it.
That one's real bad. I need to figure that out. That's kind of some of the behind the scenes of making it work. But really, I mean, honestly, usually it's the day before we get on a Slack channel that we have, and we're like, what are we going to talk about today, guys?
It's not that bad. Sometimes we know in advance because the news will have broken. Since we're a weekly show, we have time to kind of store up all of those different topics. But usually the hashing out of the ideas happens maybe the day before. So like, say if we have 5 or 6 different topics we could talk about, we'll narrow that down to 2 or 3.
Yeah. And then Dragon Kurt over on Twitch has a specific question about what software do I use for video editing? So this live stream software takes all of the feeds and kind of puts it down into one video file, obviously, that it's streaming out. But then we also save it to our large NAS system. And then from that, I edit in Premiere Pro. I take a different feed that we put on PCWorld.com and then just the audio only, and put it on a SoundCloud, so it'll disseminate through all the audio channels, and then for most of the video editing I do, it's in Premiere. I mean, we're all Adobe. I started on Final Cut back in the day when I was an Apple fan.
You converted.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, no.
I thought you still had warm, fuzzy feelings for them. You should see this face right now.
No, I should go like this.
Fuck that.
Yes. That was Gordon.
John. If John's watching, we're gonna be in so much trouble.
Hey, it's all Gordon's fault. I might have mentioned this somewhere here and there, but yeah, in 2008 I went to school for audio engineering actually, and they issued us a MacBook as part of the program, and that was my first foray into Macs, and I loved it, and then I got an iPhone and learned Final Cut and all that fun stuff, and then when they killed Final Cut, that's when I started to realize that Apple did not care about the pros anymore, and I started slowly kind of moving into Adobe, and then being like, wait, I can literally take these Adobe files and edit them anywhere. Why not build my own PC? And kind of got into that, and then the gaming, and so it kind of snowballed.
And now you're a Windows and Android kind of guy.
Now Android. Yeah, that was about 2011, I think, when I switched over to Android. Yeah. But it was the PC first, and then realizing the same thing could be happening on the phone. I love to tinker. I love to make it my own and make it special. Let me look through, see what. Dragon Kurt's asking if Vegas Pro is good. So I knew some people who were Vegas editors, but I don't know a ton. Even Prozone Layer says he prefers Vegas. So yeah, I've never honestly tried it. So around the time that Final Cut 7 died, I looked into the major ones except for Vegas. Final Cut 10 or X or whatever the hell they call it, Premiere, and then the one that comes or partnered with DaVinci, Avid Media Composer. Yeah, that's what it is. But I never tried Vegas, so I can't speak on that end.
So are all these programs priced for like business level type users, or are any of these accessible and affordable for people who are just trying to wade into video editing for the first time?
Well, I actually felt like Final Cut 7 at the time was pretty easy to pick up for me. Like that was my first foray into it, and it was not that it was bare bones, but it was very simple to think about things. Non-linear editing, is what these are called. But the pricing on that, God, I think it was like $500 for a license, and then you get upgrades within that version. I think you had to pay for every version.
Not cheap.
But 7, but they were on 7 for like 4 years until they killed it. So, and then Premiere, used to be part of the Adobe Suite, and so this suite was like what, $1,200 to get the whole thing, but you could buy in the individual applications. So now, the Adobe Creative Cloud is what, $50 a month, and you get access to all the creative stuff.
Oh, that's not bad if you only have like a limited time that you want to try it out, then I guess.
Yeah. Well, and they have trial versions. They do have just a pack for photographers. So for $10, you get Photoshop, Lightroom, and Bridge, I think it is. So they used to have little packs, but I think the photography one is the only one they keep around. So for $10 a month, that's not bad at all.
But that's for photo stuff, not
that's just for photo
video stuff, right?
For video stuff, the main ones are Premiere, Media Encoder, which is kind of the thing that does all the compressing, and then or rendering, I should say, and then the After Effects, which I don't know a ton of After Effects, but we still go in there to make certain things. So I think it's worth $50, but I know a lot of people who are really bummed that it's like a cloud-based thing, because then they can't pirate the keys and all that fun stuff. And then this is kind of a little off topic, but Elvis is asking, what do we do with things that we review? Do we have to send them back? Do we use them in house? Do we get to keep them? What's what can you speak to that?
So it varies. In general, when we can, we try to send things back if we know we're not planning to use them, like say in a comparison later on. We only have so much space in our office, unfortunately. And then there are some review units where they actually only have a limited number on hand, so they're actually cycling them through different outlets. So they'll actually tell you, hey, you only have 3 weeks with this, and we need it back by this date, so that they can move it along to the next reviewer. For the things we do keep, that's mostly because we want to use them again in some kind of benchmark or a test. So we have like a lot of GPUs lying around, and that's so that, every time that, say, Brad gets in a new graphics card, he can run all of those cards again with the same drivers to get the results to see how the performance is between all of them.
Yeah, and on my side, I do the smartphone camera comparisons, and for the most part, they don't ask for the phones back, so I kind of have a drawer full of old phones. But it is good to be able to kind of bring them out for other testing. I know Michael Simon, our main Android writer, he will occasionally do rounds of cases, or want to check out a new update when it comes to a phone. So, we're kind of constantly throwing them back and forth. So it really depends, like small little peripheral kind of stuff, like when 8-bit do.
We really need to find out how they pronounce that.
I really should, yeah. When they send me controllers, they don't ask for those back. It's probably cost more in shipping than that. But I'm also doing a roundup of entry-level mirrorless cameras for the holiday, and it looks like camera makers are very stingent about, hey, we're sending you a loaner for a 4-week period, and we want this back. So I think it just not only does it depend on company, I think it really depends on like the market too. Like I think photographers, like it's very much, hey, we're going to send this to you, but we're definitely going to get it back. And then for computers, I think it's just different depending. Yeah. And then, one thing we are trying to get in to is, giving these more giveaways. Obviously, we have the T-shirt running, and if you haven't already registered for the Threadripper 2 T-shirt, I will drop the link in a second. You should definitely sign up for that. It's free to enter. All you need is your name and email address.
It's U.S. residents only, though.
U.S. residents and Canada, except Quebec.
Except Quebec.
Yes, I don't know why.
Sorry, Quebec.
Legal. I'm sorry. I wish it could have been everybody. But yeah, they Man, what was I talking about? Oh, giveaways. So, we have some giveaways coming up, and I've been working with some companies to say, hey, do you mind giving us some giveaways to feature on the Full Nerd to give to our audience? So, like in those cases, obviously they're not asking for them back, and it's kind of a nice, little agreement of like, hey, we really like your stuff and we want to be able to give it away to our audience. So, it kind of, it works out that way.
Yeah. In general, the basic rule of thumb is that if a company sends you something, it's their property. Even if they leave it with you, they have the right to recall it at any time, so that we just treat it as, loaners.
So Kyle over at Hardy OCP says,
hey,
we hold our review units and give those away to readers every year. Interesting.
That's cool.
Approach. Yeah. And then he also says that if you take it apart, they never ask for them back.
Pro tip right there.
Yeah. And then, I got a couple people asking about opinions of the Galaxy S7 Edge. The S7, I did a camera test as part of one of the first ones we did, and it was okay. If you refurb for $200, it's not too bad, but it's stuck on KitKat. Like you said, I probably.
Oh, they haven't brought it off of that.
That's what CyberClue's saying. I'm not sure.
I feel like 7 would have been at least on Lollipop or even Marshmallow.
Yeah. And then Royal Gomez is asking my opinion on a Google Watch. I love smartwatches. I recently switched away to a hybrid, which it's Bluetooth enabled, and I do get notifications, but it's actually an analog watch on the inside. So I like my watches to be really smart. I've never been a watch guy until all these smartwatches, so I'm excited to see if they actually come out with something. And then Rusty says the S7 has an update for Oreo.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay.
Then
yeah.
I would say if it's a good refurb, go for it.
Also, Ruru2 is asking, how many vacuums have we reviewed? A big fat zero. Yeah.
I can't do a zero. What is wrong with me today, everybody? I can't remember the names of products. I can't actually form a zero. What is happening here? There we go. I'll just do it on one hand.
So, and then we have heard you on the Full Nerd stuff. I am looking into maybe getting some a limited run of Full Nerd t-shirts.
We get merch?
Yeah, and then we would sign them. Some people have asked us to sign that Threadripper 2 t-shirt, but that's a whole separate thing.
No,
it's
you don't want to
different.
sully that with like Lisa Sue and Jim Anderson are just like in their own class of people.
Yeah. Well, also it's different because it's like you're going there for that. We don't. We're not going to assume that you like the Full Nerd just because you want that t-shirt. So we are looking into that. I think that would be kind of fun. So yeah, why don't we wrap it up with a quick little just random Q&A segment.
Are we gonna actually make this an AMA? Ask us anything.
Yeah, ask us literally anything you want.
We may not answer.
Yeah, we may not answer,
but you can ask us.
Yeah. So because I noticed some of those questions were getting into just random generic territory.
Lightning round. Here we go.
Yeah, lightning round, and if you ask us anything too technical, like when is the new NVIDIA GPUs coming out, we don't know.
That's not even technical. That's just rumor mongering.
Okay, well, whatever. Like,
but if you're gonna ask us
can you overclock a 1080 Ti to 26,000 gigahertz?
What is Infinity Fabric?
Yeah, please. Why don't you do a whiteboard drawing?
I would fail that interview.
Yeah. Dragon Kurt on Twitch is asking, what is the last game each of us have played?
Like what we're playing right now, or actually completed?
I don't know. Why, whatever. Both. Either.
Completed. I've been on a catching up on Assassin's Creed kick. So I played Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, which I found really disappointing. Is that the
side-scrolling one?
Yeah, okay. One of them. I think the other. I think there's like an India and a Russia. I think they're also side-scrollers.
Oh, okay.
It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm moving on to Syndicate, and I was just complaining about this too. Leif Johnson, who's one of our staff writers on our editors on Macworld, and a huge gamer, very well versed in all things gaming. I said to him, I don't understand Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed is the only major franchise where they change the freaking control scheme every single game. Like, who does that? Like, you don't see any changes to Call of Duty. Like, your control scheme is your control scheme. Battlefield, they're not changing that. Halo, they might, but they'll still give you the option of classic control schemes if that's comfortable for you. Nope, Assassin's Creed is just like, so you know that muscle memory you've built for the last 6 years for how to trigger Eagle Vision? Yep, that's out the window. You're going to use this button instead. Oh.
Forward progress, Elena. Forward progress.
Why?
That's funny.
Why?
And I, last week, you might have caught the stream, it was one of my first times ever trying Overwatch.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I was a huge TF2 player back in the day. So, you know, I got some of those vibes. It was pretty cool. And I did play some over the weekend. I can't remember the last game I beat. Oh, it was probably God of War on the PS4.
You played that when it came out then?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I'm also trying to get through Yakuza 0, The Evil Within 2. I do. I mean, I just have a huge backlog of stuff that I whittle away at.
Mine's
a little bit.
gigantic because now that I don't work in the video game industry anymore, I've moved from I gotta try everything to I'm just going to be a connoisseur and like take this very slowly, but so slowly that I barely finish any games each year.
Well, so I mean,
I'm so ashamed of myself.
Hayden usually comes in every week, and we'll look at a game. So a lot of times, like I'll get codes along with him if we do something that's multiplayer. So
right.
I am getting a lot of codes in and trying stuff out, and yeah, I'm still kind of in that zone of like, I'm playing a ton of games, not necessarily devoting a ton of time to one. I think the last one, I mean, God of War was a pretty big time commitment, but before that was probably Zelda on the Switch, which I kind of want to go back and play again. I've been really itching.
I still haven't played it, and it's because... So here's the thing. I have a philosophical issue with a game console that corrupts save files and doesn't give you a good backup system for save files. Like, I'm not going to put 100 hours into a game only to just see it go up in a puff of, tech glitch.
Yeah, no, that's dumb. Side note, though, Rusty is asking, wait, Elena used to work in the games industry?
I used to.
Yeah.
Used to, yes.
Why don't you give people a little backstory?
Oh, man, I got to tell my origin story.
Come on, just quick. 5 words.
I used to work for, dang it. I worked at OXM. There you go, 4 words.
There you go. Perfect.
I cheated. I used to work for Official Xbox Magazine. I did that for a good handful of years. And then I worked at IGN briefly as their tech editor. So.
Nice. Awesome. And then Wes Lambo is asking, where is Adam? Am I in the same room as Elena? So why don't we watch this?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Ready? Wait. Are you going to do that? Wait. High five me, man.
High five.
Yes. Same room.
So my camera's right there that's pointing to me.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking off to the side constantly instead of looking in the camera to address you all. It's not because I'm shy. Well, I am a little shy, but not that shy.
We are
I'm
in
just
the same
socially
room.
awkward.
Elena is right there, and then if I switch to Elena, she's pointing at me. Yeah, that's where we are in relation to each other. Here's a good one from David Wilson on YouTube. What YouTube channels do you follow because you enjoy them?
Hardware Canucks.
Yeah, Hardware Canucks is pretty awesome. That guy knows how to make some good videos.
Yeah, his videos. Sometimes I watch it just for the quality of his video editing. Like, it's so smooth, it's so slick. I think primarily I follow Dimitri's videos. Eber's good too. He's really sharp, but he's so mellow that sometimes like the quality of his voice will actually like lull me into like this kind of zen thing, and I won't actually pick up what he's saying. Dimitri has a lot more energy, so a lot of times I'm paying attention to that. And also because he's super into cases, I get a lot more exposure to cases now. So many pretty things out there, you all.
They're pretty.
So many.
I not tech related. I mean, I definitely love Hardware Canucks, Pulse Hardware,
Caitlin, V3.
Caitlin V3.
Yeah.
There's, but that's also I'm doing research and seeing what other people are kind of doing. But for my own personal use, I'm a photographer and I really love. Oh my God, I forgot his name.
My disease is spreading to you, Adam.
Oh my God, he used to work at Digital Rev TV. Kai W, Kai.
Oh, the British guy.
Yes, the British guy. He's so witty. I love his camera, like first looks and reviews and stuff like that. He's hilarious. If you're into cameras at all and you want a good YouTuber, I mean, he's been doing it for like 10 plus years. He has his own channel now. He used to be part of Digital Rev TV. I think it's what it used to be called. Anyway, those are pretty fun. Over on Twitch, Asreal585 is asking, what cell phones do you use personally?
So for my personal phone, I use a Pixel 2. And then for a work phone, just so that, because I also work with the Macworld team, I have an iPhone SE so that I can kind of speak with a bare minimum of knowledge about iOS.
Yeah, just stay in that realm.
Yeah.
Right now in my pocket, I forgot. What is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly cycling through phones.
Yeah, so because I do
show them that one.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this one. So because I do all the camera testing, I'm literally switching phones like every couple weeks. So before the one I have in here, I had the LG G7, the OnePlus 6, the HTC U12 Plus. I mean, I'm literally switching phones all the time. I think the one that I used the most within the past year was probably the Google Pixel 2 XL. Anyway, I do have a fun one that I'm trying out right now, and it is the BlackBerry Key 2.
Oh my God, look at that physical keyboard.
Yeah, this guy, you know, I was never a BlackBerry person, but BlackBerry fans are saying that this is the second coming, and I've really enjoyed it. Other than the screen is really small, I like huge screens.
How big is that screen? Because I saw that. So he showed me this phone, and I said, "Oh, I would love that phone if you just chopped off the physical keyboard." Because my hands are not that large.
I know a lot of people who
I can barely get it across the width of a screen these days, and it drives me crazy.
So I'm gonna. Oh.
Are you playing?
Are not that large.
I know a lot of people who
Wait, are you playing the live stream?
Yeah. I'm looping us back. No, I was just bringing it up to see the size of the screen. It's actually pretty small. So
like a 4.7?
I don't even think it's that. It's also a weird aspect ratio.
It would be it'd be perfect for my little hands.
So yeah, as you can see, the aspect ratio we got. I'm trying. There we go. So it's not quite 16:9. It's got a little bit of letterboxing. You know. And yeah, we got a little bit of an inception. It's me holding up a phone, pointing to me holding up a phone. Which you look at this.
Oh my gosh.
This is the kind of dumb stuff that happens when Gordon's not here.
And Brad. Brad especially.
And Brad. Here we go. Prozone Layers asking, what's your favorite computer-related item you own and use every day? That's a hard one.
Like related, as in not an actual PC?
I don't know.
Because
that's a good question.
At home I tend to use touchscreen based laptops, like the one I have here even. Mm-hmm. I found that with
touchscreens are awesome.
Tendinitis, it helps a lot because I don't have to do a lot of mousing to like do just basic web browsing. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my favorite things. It's a little retro, but not entirely retro. I actually love physical books, but because I live in San Francisco, I don't have nearly enough room to store all the ones I kind of like and would want to read again, but don't necessarily love so much that I have to have a physical, copy of it. So I got not a Kindle, I got a Nook before that line died out. So I have an old school, e-ink Nook reader.
Nice.
And I actually use that quite a bit because I can store a bunch of books on it. There's stuff that's what did I say? Open source. God, why can't I think of anything today? So, and any books that are falling out of copyright, so that are free for download, I just put a ton of those on
Commons, whatever.
No, it's like the Project Gutenberg type books. There's a term for it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't have breakfast today. I was doing a bunch of Amazon Prime coverage this morning before I ran here, and that's why I was late. So I had to skip breakfast.
Nice. I'll say my current favorite computer-related thing is something I've been wanting to talk about for weeks. Oh my God. Yes, and it's fine. We saw this at E3, the new Razer optomechanical switches at E3, and then they just announced them last week. But when we went to that meeting at E3, Hayden and I got some Switches. Like, they just had a big bag of them. We're like, hey, put your hand in and take them out. This has been I mean, it's a cool technology, whatever. I don't know as much about mechanical switches as Hayden does, but one of the coolest things that this just makes a great fidget item.
Yeah.
I just sit there at my desk all day and just sit there and click.
How has Dan not murdered you yet?
Oh, I don't know, but it's like, instead of a fidget spinner, like, I've just been playing with this, and I was like, man, this is. I even told the guys at Razer, I was like, if you guys want to get in like the fidget market, you guys should just sell
just individual
keys like this, because.
So here's the thing. I gotta say, you came to my desk with that and you were clicking it, and my first thought was, wow, that is way less annoying to listen to than the MacBook, the new keys.
Oh,
so Lath has one of
ones.
those, obviously because he works on Macworld, and I don't think he's even necessarily a loud typer, but it makes him into this incredibly loud typer. And it's not his fault, but I always have to wear headphones when he really starts getting going with a story, because it's just so loud and so like, just the right pitch to annoy me. Yeah.
Mechanical switches. Yeah. So anyway, kind of a production related note, and we get this actually quite a bit. Evocation Productions is asking, do you guys have any pop filters? Elena, do you know what a pop filter is?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't think I do.
So, a pop filter is something you put over a microphone to help with plosives. Plosives are the things like peas. So, we don't have any external pop filters. These ones actually have pop filters built in.
Oh.
And sure, they're I mean...
Fancy.
I mean, that's part of the reason why these are radio microphones. So you can put another external pop filter in, and it would help with some of those plosives. But me personally, I don't think they're actually too bad.
You keep using keywords. Are you trolling him?
Plosive. No, it's literally the name of the thing of
No, because you said you actually used a couple words in that last sentence that were not the word plosive.
It could be possible that I'm saying plosive a lot. Anyway, that was a side note. Let's see what do we got. To wrap it up with a couple things. Oh, yeah.
Please stand by.
Yeah, please stand by.
We are scrolling through your questions.
Yeah, but we got Dragon Kurtz excited for a BlackBerry.
Oh, really?
Yes. No,
cool.
Sounds like we got some old BlackBerry fans. Hey, you know what? Let's Roel, man, I'm sorry, that was your name right now. Roel Gomez saying, can you guys give us a tour of the office? I've actually been thinking about doing this. I think it would be kind of fun, especially to see everyone's workspace. But, some people, want a little bit of privacy, or they've got NDA stuff on their desk that they can't show. So sometimes it could be a little hairy, but I think it would be fun to do just, hey, here's every part of the office.
You guys really want to see the fire hazard? That's Gordon's desk.
I thought we should definitely show.
It literally took me a good 45 seconds to find that canteen in his desk area.
Yeah.
Not on his desk, in his desk area.
Yeah, his desk area is definitely interesting.
I used to, so when we worked at Maximum PC together, I used to be in the same, because how most cube configurations are like one big cube that's split into two, right? So one person gets one side, the other person gets the other side.
Yeah.
So I was in that same shared cube space, and it was just like night and day, polar opposites, where his side had all the boxes and the, trinkets and the gadgets just everywhere, and then mine was just, whistle clean. I knew where everything was. And that was before I became, more of a writer / reviewer. So I really didn't have a lot of products hanging around at my desk. So it was a very stark contrast.
Dragon Kurt says that I don't want to do an office tour because I have an 1180 sitting on my desk right now. You found me out.
Oh.
No.
So obvious.
Yeah,
Adam.
I know, right? Oh,
so obvious.
Oh, that got me. Speaking of 1180, Chris is saying, since no Brad, still I know that the 1180 rumors aren't many, but what do you guys think about the ramp up in GDDR6, the main customer whom would be NVIDIA?
Sorry, the laughter is because because we just shared a look. Like, what do I do when Brad's not here?
Yeah,
We have to answer an actual technical question.
usually at this point in the show, we would just look over at the screen and be like, Brad?
Brad?
I have no idea. Didn't you hear when we talked earlier that, we're not necessarily the right people for this? To your question, the ramp up of GDDR6 is going to be great for the industry, and NVIDIA is going to do a lot in it, and AMD probably too.
I don't know anything about GDDR6, so I don't know what the yields are like right now. I don't know who the main suppliers would be. I don't know who those customers would be, given who the suppliers are. So to give a slightly more serious version of the answer, we don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
But we can save that question for next week when Brad is back.
Yes. Hopefully everyone will be back, and we'll also announce the winner of the Threadripper 2 t-shirt.
Giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway. That would be awesome. I will, I promised I was going to put a link in the thing, and I will. And then, why don't you answer this last question from Nightbot on...
Oh, it's a bot.
Bot, B-O-U-H-T.
Oh, never mind.
On Twitch. He's asking, I've noticed that Gordon is a lot more PG on this podcast than the Max PC podcast. If you couldn't tell from the soundboard.
The soundboard that we didn't know what had swear words in it.
Yeah, is that because you're a good influence on him, or did management crack down?
Well, given that the anecdote that Adam shared was John saying that he would have told them not to swear so much if he had known they were doing that, I think the safe answer, or the safe guess, if you didn't already know, is, management cracked down a little. And I wouldn't say cracked down, just made a nice request of us to make this podcast, or show rather, more accessible to everybody who watches and listens. And I think it helps, because I definitely do think that there are people in our audience who do have, younger companions, children, small clones of themselves listening potentially in the background if they're playing this all over speakers. So it helps.
Gordon can use a little good influence. We need to get him to play some games other than World of Warships for once. So I'm copying the Threadripper 2 giveaway, posting that in the chat. Also says Ruru2 says that he's cutting down on the cussing because Disney is trying to buy PC World. Confirmed. Yep, you got it. And then, we got one last question from...
One last question. You can do it, buddy. I believe in you.
Lucothia. Any plans for the full nerd after dark? I don't even know what that means. So.
Oh, like... Wait, are we talking about those after dark kind of gatherings where you go to a museum and you walk? I've never been to one, so I assume you just walk around with wine in your hand and you try to sound smart about what's at the museum? I've never been to one.
That is not what he's talking about. So we'll leave it at that. And why don't you try? Do you want to try Gordon's outro?
Are we both going to try it?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Make it even till the end.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like. For our audio listeners, you can subscribe to us. So audio subscribers can listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and iTunes. If you're so inclined, leave a nice review of us on iTunes. Every time you do, we figure out something else that Gordon's wrong about.
Oh, yes. Good one.
Thank you for tuning in. I am your stand-in host, Elena Yee, here with Adam Patrick Murray, who will take us out after doing his version of this outro.
No, I think that was good. So why don't you go tweet Gordon and tell him that he's been replaced on the Full Nerd.
By Canteen.
And maybe we'll see him next week. Maybe not. Bye.